Hello folks, in this session we're going to pick up from our last session where we basically did the installation of PCF dev, and in this one we are going to essentially take our REST service that we programmed in our lesson 2 and deploy it in the same PCF dev environment. So hopefully you have the PCF dev installed and running, and you have probably the Spring Music application which is running for you. Okay, so that's probably where you are. Last time we saw when we were starting up the CF dev server and etc., it was taking a bit of time. If you did the Spring Music lesson out of the pivotal.io website, then if you remember, you did scaling up and you would have two instances of this thing running, which is obviously consuming memory and resources. So what I have done is I have basically gone ahead and I have stopped it. So the way you stop it is you will basically get a plus, like a square icon, the tape recorder stop button. You just hit that and you can stop the thing. Okay, so I would recommend you doing that. That way, when you do the stop start etc., if you are not really playing with the Spring Music, you will save yourself time. So what I will do is I have this thing tested for our demo, and I have currently the REST service deployed. So what we're going to do it is we're going to delete it. That way you see how to delete a REST service, how to delete a service, and then we will go ahead and build this whole thing, deploy it, and go through the entire sequence of things. So I'll click on this REST service. I get the stop. I'm going to stop it. Says OK, and then once it's stopped, I go to settings, and there's a delete app button here. I'll click the delete app and it is gone. Okay, so if I go here, I currently have just one app and it is Spring Music, which is stopped. Okay, so that's where we want to be. Next, what we will do is we'll do a couple of things. We're going to start up the PCF environment. We're going to stop it and start it back up. We are going to do building of the application. We'll do a clean build, and then we're going to deploy. Okay, so from our past experience, we know that when we start it, it takes some time. So we will get this thing going to start up, and while we look at code, and then when we come back, it would have started, and we'll just go ahead and deploy. Okay. So CF dev stop. I hit it. It's stopping. Take a few seconds to stop. Once it's stopped, we'll get it started, and then we're going to go and look at some code. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. So I'm issuing CF dev start. Again, don't worry about the commands. I have a list here. I am going to essentially post it in the comment section so you have it. Okay. All right. So next, let's go ahead and look at our project. And I have made basically two changes to this project. And so we'll go through that, and then we'll do a build, and then we should be good to go. So the first one is if you look at the pom.xml, I have added a packaging here. Okay. So if you don't add it, by default you will get a jar file, but for sake of completeness, if you want, you can go ahead and add the packaging jar. I feel good about it because I know it's not going to generate a war or AR or something like that. But if you leave it out, by default, the default is jar, so you'll get a jar. So it's up to you. So that is one change. And the second is we have created this file called manifest.yaml. Okay, in which again you can refer to the pivotal.io documentation, in which basically there's a style in which you have to do it. There are the 3 hyphens, then you have the applications, then you put the name, the initial memory, disk quota, instances, and a path to where all the source files are. Okay, so this is what you would create, and then you basically save it. Once you're done with this, so those are the two changes. One, that pom jar, which is optional, and this is the main one which you should create. It's called the manifest.yaml, and it'll be used by Pivotal for pushing our app. So what we will do is we'll go ahead and clean. So this will get rid of our old jar, etc. We can come back and make sure that the target is all gone. So the target, see the jar file, etc., is all gone, right? So we know that there is nothing remaining from before. So whatever we are going to build now is going to get deployed. I'll hit the Maven package and it will go ahead and create our jar files. If I go back here and do my F5, I got my jar. Okay, so I have this guy done. We are still waiting for PCF dev to start, and once it starts up, we will connect to it and then we will issue the push command. So while we are waiting for this, let's take a quick look. Basically, we will do a CF login to our api.local.pcfdev.io and skip SSL validation because we don't have anything, no SSL setup in this laptop here. The next command is CF push. This is the name of the service you want to give it, -p, the path basically to the jar. Okay, and this is going to read basically the manifest, as well as it will pick up this jar and get going, and we'll be pushing it. Once we are done, we will log on to our local instance and we will go back and check. So that's, we will go back here and take a look at it, and once that is done, we are essentially going to click something here that will take us to this particular URL, and minus this customer maintenance get account basic, we are going to enter it and see the call return data. Okay, so let's see if our guy started. It's still starting up. Just to refresh our memory, if I go to my service, that get account basic basically has this POJO, which we have sort of added some values to, and it's essentially going to return this 123J Ghoshal. Okay, so that's what we are doing. Again, you can see your the lesson 2, or I think it's called the REST service part 2, to get information on this particular project. All the details are there, as well as the source code is there. Okay, so now that it started, let me click here. So we did the build and package. So I will do a CF login to my api.local.pcf. Now, how do I know what I have to do? So it's over here. So once we started it, it is telling me CF login -a HTTPS API blah blah blah. Admin user is this and regular user is this. Since we are not really adding say components or adding different things, we are basically pushing an application. We will log in with the regular user. Okay, so that's the plan. So I basically copied from the left window over to the right window and I enter. It's asking me for the email, which is user. Password is password pass. Then the next one I do is the push command, and that again will post. It's simple, CF push, the name you want it to be, and the path to the jar. And I'm over here, and the manifest.yml is here. Okay, so the location where the POM is, next to it is this manifest, and the stuff is inside the target. Okay. Now to streamline things, you can put build pack and other information inside this command. That will speed up things, but we are just running it vanilla. So if you don't know what exactly it has been built with or what are the different components needed, you can simply run it like this. It takes a little longer, but it will not take too long. So it knows we have a Java application, so it is using Java build pack, and it is setting up things. It'll now start it up. All right. So at this point, we should be good to go. So we basically are at here. I'm logging in as admin. You can log in as user as well. And then I'm here. If I click here, I have these two services. Spring service was stopped. We deleted this one, so it's back now. Last push 2 minutes ago. Click on this guy. It's giving white label error because there's nothing serving up that space. But we know that if you go to /customer maintenance /get account basic, we have that endpoint defined. We click it, and here we go. We have our data. So we basically have compiled, essentially added the manifest YAML, added one small change to the POM. For jar, again, it's optional, and essentially started up PCF dev or PCF, and then we connected to it. Then we basically build the application, and we pushed it to PCF, and we have tested to make sure that it is working. So this is, in a nutshell, how you would deploy your own application which you built from scratch to a PCF environment. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, please feel free to hit a like so I get some feedback that people are finding these videos useful, and we will see you in the next lesson. Thank you.